To tale as old as time, a war since the beginning of eternity. Actually, no. Today we're looking at a long-fought battle between two adorable creatures, bears and cats. While both vicious in their own right, bears versus cats is what we're doing today, because today we are looking at a couple of games that feature polyominoes. Thank you, Jordan, for explaining what that is. That feature bears and cats. A Barenpark, a theme park, amusement park zoo devoted entirely to bears. Seems a little bit one note, but again, we love bears. And an island made up of cats. Not an island made up of cats. That would be weird and kind of creepy and like all ferocious. But an island with a lot of rare cats on them, and we're going to rescue those cats before the vicious Vesh, I feel like that was done on purpose, gets there. So, what do I mean by this? Well, today we're actually taking a look at two polyomino placing games that are very similar in style, in the sense that you're placing them out, trying to get a good score for how you place them. Would be Barenpark versus the Isle of Cats. Not the Isle of Cats, just Isle of Cats. So it's not one of many, it's Isle of Cats. So let's look right now. You know, we do these versus videos, these to the death videos that feature, an in-depth look at how each one plays, the user interface, the direct user interface, kind of the experience, the art, and all such as that. Taking a look at the total package, a la Lex Luger, of these games. So let's find out which one comes out clawing its way to an eons-long victory between bears and cats right now. The sheer power undulating from this table right now from these two creatures is staring us right in the face. So today, as you know, we're going to look at a couple of different criteria. Number one, the art, right? Which of these games looks better? Then we're going to take a look at the criteria of which one plays better in a couple of different ways. Your direct user interface, so i.e. what you will do on your turn, versus what happens on everyone's turn, which is kind of the complete game experience. Then after that, we're going to talk about which one of these games comes out on top, whether it's in this order or reversed, but this one's heavier, so I didn't want to drop it on my head, or the bear's head. Come on, he's cute. We're going to see which one is the winner of that as well. So first, let's take a look at Barenpark. What is this game about bears? You're essentially going to be taking these pieces with different bears and bathrooms and restaurants and rivers and sorts of things, and you're going to be putting them on your player board. Now, whatever you cover up that round is what you will also gain back as the next tile. So if you cover a green, you'll take one of these green tiles here. If you cover a silver, you'll take one of the more silvery tiles. And if you take a, there's not one out here right now, but if you take one of the construction symbols there of the backhoe or the crane, you'll take one of the actual bear types themselves. So they're stacked top to bottom with points to where you're going to get the most points if you get it first. Now, another thing to note is this one here, this construction site will get you another one of these little tablets to put out. The game ends when someone has filled 4 complete, but you can't ever have more than 4. Now, your basic polyomino rules apply here. You can't do something like this where it just hangs off. Now, once you've built this, a second tile, you could essentially have this hanging over the edge, and whatever you cover, you would get. So you can get multiple tiles per turn. Again, these are all points-based, but also you're playing for in-game goals that are stacked downward point based. So the person who has the most of those bears, or the person who has 3 of those types of enclosures will take it first, not the most. If you have 3 of the goby bears, you'll take that. Then obviously it'll go down to 5, then down to 2. So you want to be quicker about getting these goals. There'll be 3 of those. Once you've closed in everything on your board, except this little empty holes here, you'll take one of these statues, which are in here. They're again based on points, but you fill that spot. Now again, once someone has filled 4 of these totally, the game is over and points are scored based on what you have showing. And much like their close cousins, the Velociraptor, that's probably not scientifically accurate, and the Battle of Fancy Feast, the cats swoop in and they start to eat you before you even know it. Something like that, he says it. This is Isle of Cats. Now you will get this nice boat to fill up. Ideally, you're going to notice that there are different symbols. Now, this game is great for people who have colorblind issues, because everything also that has a color has a symbol. So you'll notice that each of these little rooms has a different symbol. So this one's parrots, these are half moons up here, little eyes, that one doesn't have a symbol. Each of these rooms counts as a room at the end of the game, where if you don't fill a room, it's -5 points. If you have any rats showing, it's -1 point. However, you start putting these cats out there as cat families. You say, what cats? Well, inside of this bag, is a bag of cats. Look in here. Look down inside of this bag just of cats, just everywhere. Just tiles and tiles and tiles of cats. What's going to happen is you're going to draw out 2 cats per side of the main board per player. You're going to lay these out here. So let's just say we're playing in a 2-player game. Well, that's a rare treasure. If that happens, you put it down below, and that's available for people who use a rare treasure card. Anyway, you're going to put some cats out here. You're going to get 20 fish tiles to start the game. You're going to be buying these cats to put on your board based on how many baskets you have. That's another little rule, is you have permanent baskets and temporary baskets and things like that. You can only take as many cats as you have baskets. And the taking of the cats is based on an initiative order determined by who plays certain types of cards. But anyway, your point is you're going to be placing these cats out here onto your boat. Look at that, lazy cats laying all over the boat, just like a cat would in real life if he were in fact, or her were in fact, rescued from an island of cats. You cover up the board. Now again, these houses are what I wanted to mention. So if you have 1 or 2 of the same cat touching, it does nothing. But once you get 3, it's worth 8 points. Then 4 is 11, and you can see how the grid goes up. So ideally, you're going to be trying to get points from that. But there's a whole element to this game that I didn't mention. There are wildcats called Oshaks, but there are these. See this humongous deck of cards? These are all the sorts of things that you're going to be doing on your turn in the drafting phase. That's right. It is tile placement, polyomino placement with drafting. And I mean a fairly heavy draft, because you're going to draft. In the cards, there are these blue cards, which are kind of your lesson cards. Now, you will read these off. Now, here's the phases of the game here. So you're going to fish first. That means you get your 20 tokens. You're going to explore, which means you do the drafting. You're going to read lessons. So everyone has to read these out loud, even if they're private, and most of them are. You're then going to have things like this where it's a half basket and a boot. The boots, the person who has the most boots in initiative is who gets the initiative. Half baskets can't be played unless you have 2 of them. Rare treasures, that's how you take the treasures that I mentioned. Also, these are worth 3 points. The common treasures are worth nothing. They just fill spaces that you need to get filled. But ideally, you're going to be playing through to get these lesson cards and suiting your game towards that. So you're going to draft 7 cards, and then you're going to buy the cards that you drafted based on the number in the top left corner. So that one is worth 2 fish. If you have that room empty, it's worth 15 points. You say, well, that seems like a lot of points. Well, if you think about it, though, this room empty by itself is already -5, -2 because of those rats. So it's a -7, so that's really only worth 8 points if you complete it. However, you can have as many of these blue cards as you can and hopefully combo enough. The person who gets the most points at the end of the game wins the game. So those are the criteria. So first of all, let's talk about art. Now, as far as the game itself, the art of the game, the actual individual pieces, I got to give the art to Isle of Cats, because each one of those pieces is individually drawn. Now, so are the ones on the other ones, but the symbols are the same. So a statue is a statue is a statue for the most part. Whereas Isle of Cats, each one of those cats is individually made. Now again, you were talking about the difference between a published produced game versus one that was kickstarted, with kind of the idea of, hey, if we can raise this sort of money, we can do this. I get that, and that's a discussion for a different day. But as far as top-down viewer experience looking at these pieces, I have to go with Isle of Cats, with the exception of, I love the way a completed board of Barenpark looks. Those pieces all over the board just looks great. It looks like you have a zoo and laid out with all your bears and stuff. I really enjoy that. Now, as far as the user interface, what you are given, it's got to go to Isle of Cats as well, because you are given your board, yes, but you're also given the opportunity to draft these cards, switch them around, move them around. You have the boat in front of you that you're trying to fill up. I like that. Now, as far as Barenpark, you have the nice little blocks that you're completely filling up. So there's a difference there, because in Isle of Cats, you lose points for the things you don't fill up, whereas Barenpark, you have to fill it up essentially to finish out, or at least finish strong. So I got to give the win there also for direct user interface to Barenpark. Now, as far as strategic ability goes, what I mean by that is the most options you get when it's your turn. I have to go more on the lines of actually Barenpark here, because you can strategize a lot further and you're more free with those decisions. So if I choose to take this type of piece, or I cover up this type of piece, I know that I'm setting myself up a few turns later. Whereas Isle of Cats, you're dealt the cards that are given to you, unless you keep them for another round, but you're also only available to use the cats that are out there. So you're kind of more in the moment, tactically reacting. Like Robert McNamara said, that all crises are just, something about crisis management. Anyway, I really know my history. Point is this, Barenpark is a little bit more in the planning ahead strategically, whereas Isle of Cats, you kind of have to tactically think through that turn, and pretty much that turn alone, except for blue cards. Now, As far as so that's the actual the direct user interface and strategic things and like that. Now let's talk total package, getting the torture rack going on here. Which one of these would you say is the better buy if you're going to get just one of these? Now it's hard because, again, I only do videos of versus games that are both very good in their own right. But today we're taking a look at the two here side by side. I like both of them. I like the topics of both of them. But at the end of the day, the ability to draft those cards and get, you know, your gold card set, and then each round try to play towards that, I think really takes the cake for me, as well as you're looking at your map and you're thinking, okay, I have to fill this room. How can I do it? Versus in Barenpark, oh, I got this piece this round, cover this up. Oh, I can use this piece to cover this up. Isle of Cats is a lot more stressful when it comes to, man, I hope I can get the cards I need to come to me. I hope that I can draft, and hopefully that card, the other one I wanted, will come back around to me. So there's a lot of push and pull there. But as far as total package and mechanics and everything goes, I have to give the win overall to Isle of Cats. Both are great games, but if you are into a polyomino game, I will make this statement. It's kind of bold, it's kind of crazy. Isle of Cats is the best polyomino placement game there is out there right now. Go and get Isle of Cats. Go and get Barenpark 2. They're both not very expensive, but they're both great games. But if you have to choose just one polyomino to keep in your collection, it is 100% hands down Isle of Cats. I love it. Great game. Looks good. Plays good. Has tons and tons of replayability. So that's the final verdict. That is who wins the World War III match. 3 rings. It's actually 2 this time, so that reference doesn't make sense. Just wanted to sneak in another WCW reference, but whatever. What you gonna do, brother, when Isle of Cats runs? Anyway, go pick up Isle of Cats. I'm Bryan Drake here on the Dice Tower. Make sure to follow me on Twitter, Instagram at DicetowerBryan. Doing a top 10 this week with Tom. Best Final Fantasy games. Fantasy Flight games, as well as board game battle royale. Make sure to get your votes in and come join us live to see which story-driven narrative game comes out on top. We'll see you soon.
Thanks so much for watching another Dice Tower video. If you enjoy our videos, subscribe to the channel for more fun, comprehensive board game coverage. Also, consider joining us at one of our events. Come to Dice Tower Retreat, a small, intimate gathering where gaming is king. Join us for Dice Tower Cruise, the largest board game cruise. Attend Dice Tower West in Las Vegas for gaming fun on the West Coast, or Dice Tower East in Orlando in sunny Florida. Dice Tower Conventions, the friendliest gaming conventions on Earth. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.